Hi, my name is Lynn Thompson. I'm the president of Cold Steel Incorporated and the chief instructor of our training division. This afternoon I want to talk to you about some of our new arrivals here at Cold Steel, the Mini Tacs. In the past we made this knife with G10. It's quite an extensive process to machine and it's a costly material to begin with, and a lot of our customers felt that the Mini Tacs were too expensive for a neck knife. It just about priced them out of the market. So what I did is I decided I'll use a real high strength plastic, I'll emulate the look of real G10, and I'll reduce the cost to make it much more affordable, which is what I did. And I'm very pleased with the result. When you get to handle this, you'll notice that the handle surface has a good bite. It's got that sharp, nice bite that G10 has, so when you get your fingers in there, all the flesh of your fingers goes into all those little nooks and crannies and gets a really good bite. So I'm really happy about how that turned out. This year we added 2 new serration patterns to the Mini Tacs. On the tanto point we added a full serration all the way up here to the yokote. For such a lightweight knife, it has tremendous cutting power. Of course, you've got the jimping right here for your thumb, and the way Andrew Demko designed this handle, I can get almost all 4 fingers on it, and I get such a positive lock here on my index and middle finger that I can really control this knife and put a lot of power behind that edge. Also, when you're piercing with it or stabbing with it, you've got a lock here and you've got a lock there. So your hand can't go forward onto that edge. It's just virtually impossible. If your hand is closed, it's not going forward. And that's something that most neck knives can't offer, and that's what the Mini Tac does offer. That sub-hilt and those 2 cutouts are awesome in both the thumb reinforced forward grip or in a reverse grip like this. I prefer serration on almost everything, and I thought it was a shame that we didn't have this on these knives, and I wanted to add it, and so I did this year, and I'm happy I did. I also added it to the Mini Tac Skinner. Now this knife weighs 2.1 ounces. You know, that's considerably lighter than the tanto. This is a feather. And again, it shares lots of the other features. It's got that sub-hilt, so you got that beautiful locked-in grip. But look at the belly. Look at the curve you get on this cutting edge. And it's got a reinforced point right here too. Even though that point's acute, if you look at it, it's not flimsy, it's quite sturdy. So you've got really good piercing and slashing power here. I used a plain edge version of this in Australia 2 years ago to cape a buffalo. And I did it all with this little tiny 2.1 ounce knife. So it can do an awful lot of work in the field, and with that serrated edge, it gives you tremendous cutting power. Way outside what you normally would think a knife like this could do. For a 2.1 ounce knife, this thing is a cutting machine with that serrated edge. Very, very impressive. I really liked it. The other knife I want to talk about today is this Mini Tac Beaver Tail. This one weighs about 2.6, 2.7 ounces. It's got quite a wide blade. This knife seems to be quite misunderstood in the marketplace, and I've never really come out and explained it on the internet like I should have, and told all my customers and friends why I made this blade this way. I made the beaver tail blade so that you could, in a very short, light package, get tremendous cutting and shearing and slicing power. It's got this wide, flat, thin cross section. What that gives you is tremendous slicing and shearing power. This will slice an apple so beautiful you just can't hardly believe it. And a knife like this tanto, well, you can cut an apple with it. When it reaches right here, the spine, it's going to wedge and the apple's kind of crack apart. Not so with this beaver tail. It slices like right through stuff and shears through it like a big giant French chef's knife. It's got that wide blade to do all that shearing with. So you can do a lot of utility work with it. Also, in an emergency self-defense situation, that makes a heck of a big hole. I also haven't talked about the Kiridashi very much. And the Kiridashi blade, I put this in the Mini Tac because this is the quintessential utility knife in Japan. All kinds of things that have to be cut and carved and manipulated and used with a knife, this is the style that's very popular in Japan. And one of its advantages is that very narrow tip allows you to do all kinds of fine fiddly work with it. You can get into all kinds of tight spots. That straight edge is easy to sharpen and offers lots of control when you're cutting, particularly out here near the tip. So it has lots of utility uses, and that's what it's primarily known for. Also, of course, you can use it in self-defense. It's quite acute, as you can see, and it'll go in effortlessly. And you've got, again, all that leverage that sub-hilt handle gives you to use it. So I'd really like to encourage you to look into a Mini Tac. They come with a really nice Securex sheath that offers a lot of safety and convenience. When you put this in here, it locks in really well, and you can shake and shake and shake and shake, and it won't come out. And that's something that's really important, that a lot of neck knives are not as good at as they should be. They're not as safe and secure as they should be, and that's something I'm really trying hard with ours to accomplish all the time, is to get a really good lock, but not so hard that you can't draw it, but that retains the knife adequately enough that it won't come out inadvertently. We also offer this knife with a steel bead lanyard. They all come with a steel bead lanyard, and the reason I use this is because in an emergency, if this knife got caught up and was hanging outside your clothing and got caught up on machinery, or somebody grabbed you by it and was trying to restrain you by holding on the bead lanyard, all you have to do is pull back about 30 pounds of pressure, snaps the beads, and releases you. But that's plenty strong enough to carry this 24/7 around your neck and never fail. But in an emergency, you put a lot of pressure on it, bang, you're free. So that's why we use the steel bead lanyard. This knife can also be worn on a Blade Tech belt adapter. They make a really nifty belt adapter that you can angle or put this on at any angle or configuration you want, and you could carry it on your belt very easily, and you can attach it by taping or tying on any piece of equipment that you own. Look into the Mini Tac. I'm pretty darn sure you won't regret buying one.